Alright guys, what's up? New deck profile today. We've got the Adamancipators. Brand new, just got released in, what's this set called? Secret Slayers. Awesome new archetype. It's rock-based. We don't get a lot of rock-based archetypes at all, so enjoy it while it's here. But yeah, really cool archetype. I've loved rocks for quite a while. Tromaids are a very cool deck that I like. But this is the new rock archetype. It's a synchro based archetype, just in time for Master Rule 5. Great thing. But yeah, let's get started. First we play. There's minors, and then there's rocks, and then there's synchro dragons basically. But this is one of the three minors that's available. This is researcher. Basically, this card special summons itself if there's a rock on the field, which you're always going to have. It's a rock-based deck. But aside from that, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and then if you have a non-tuner level 4 or lower monster, you can special summon it for free. Super cool effect, and then you put the rest on the bottom. Then we play 3 copies of Analyzer. This one is on paper the worst one. So the issue with this one is that you can special summon it for free if your opponent controls a monster, but you know this is more of a deck you want to go first with. But it's definitely not bad. You know, it's good because it's basically like Cyber Dragon. But its second effect is the same thing. You get to reveal the top 5 or excavate the top 5, summon a non-tuner level 4 or lower monster. And by the way, these are all tuners, which helps you go into the synchros. We've got 1 Seeker. This one lets you special summon if you control an Adamancipator monster on the field. You can special summon this for free. Then we play the rocks. So we play 3 of the water rock. This one allows you all of the rocks when they're special summoned off of an Emancipator effect. You get an additional effect off of the rocks, and then you can shuffle their attribute synchro monster from your graveyard and put this on the top of your deck. So, you know, it's got 2 pretty cool effects. So this one, when it's special summoned, you get to draw, and then you can obviously shuffle away a water monster, a water synchro monster, and then put this on the top of your deck. This is the fire one. This one, whenever this is special summoned off of an Emancipator effect, you get to place an Emancipator on the top of your deck, and then of course you can put the fire back in the extra deck, and then put this on the top of your deck. And this one, when it's special summoned, you get to summon you get to put a rock on the top of your deck, and then of course you can put the wind back and synchro into your extra deck, and then put this on top of your deck. The best one by far is the water, because the other effects, there's a lot of other things that can do what the other effects can do, but all of them are very good in the grind game because they help you put stuff back and go into multiple synchro monsters. It's the reason you only have to play 1 of each of the synchro monsters. You can always just put them back, and it's important to have them in graveyard to get the additional effects of the synchro monsters. We play 3 copies of Kwakimaru Overload. Kwakimarus in general are just very good rock monsters. They always have been, but there's others that you can play. So all of the Kwakimaru rock monsters, basically when your opponent does some sort of an action like summon a monster or activate a spell trap or monster effect, you contribute them and then negate and destroy that card. So this one, when your opponent normal summons, when your opponent summons a monster, you contribute this and then destroy, negate the summon and destroy it. The others can do all types of different things, like I've said before. And then also this has a like a maintenance cost. So you have to reveal a rock during your end phase, or a Kwakimaru, their spell. But you don't play the Iron Core of Kwakimaru, so you have to basically reveal a rock. This deck it creates so much advantage, especially in hand. You always have a rock in hand. You don't have to worry about that. But usually you will actually just synchro this off or XYZ it off. But sometimes you just want to leave it on your end board just to get a free negate. Then we've got 3 copies of Doki Doki. This card, I swear to you, was like made for this deck. So basically, you can discard 1 rock monster, and then you can special summon from your deck a monster with that exact same attribute and that exact same level. When I tell you this is made for this deck, it really is made for this deck, because it mentions the whole attribute thing. And if you recall, some of these rocks have attributes. They're not just Earth, because most rocks in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh have been Earth. But these actually have attributes like water and stuff, so you can actually discard one from your hand and special summon one from your deck, which is really cool. And then on top of that, yeah, it just helps you to like basically get stuff out of your deck for free. Really cool for that. One of the best rocks ever printed, Block Dragon. This card is disgusting. So number one, you could special summon it just basically by banishing three earth monsters from your hand or graveyard, and you can use that effect, that summoning, either in your graveyard or in your hand. So you can summon this from either spot and banish from either spot. So that's already broken, right? And then on top of that, when this card is sent from field to grave, you can add up to the level 8 three monsters from your deck that add up to level 8. So basically, let's say you like link this away, you can add like a Doki Doki, you can add one of the minors, and then you can add one of the level 4s just right off of just linking this away. It's just a +3, just like that. It's super easy. But yeah, it's really broken for that. It's really good in the grind game too. Then we play 2 copies of Gigantus. This basically is a monster you summon. Again, just for banishing an earth monster in the graveyard, you have a ton. 1 Sentry Soldier of Stone. This helps you make some of the weirder Synchro monsters in the deck. It's really good with one of the... first of all, it can help you make Naturia Beast, because basically if you just normal summon one of the minors, if you just normal summon a minor and this is on your deck, you just get to special summon this, and then you get to make the Naturia Beast. But outside of that, if this card's in your graveyard, you can, if you control if this card's in your graveyard and you control all rocks, you can basically special summon this from your graveyard for free. Super cool effect. Then we play 1 Nibiru. It's searchable with the new monster. It's not really new, but Galleon Garnet can search the Nibiru, and sometimes it's good to have as an insurance policy if you have nothing else to search. Yeah, it's still an early build, but definitely that. Let's move on to some more monsters. Before utility, we just kind of play 3 Ash Blossoms. Best hand trap in the game right now. Adamancipator Signs, 3 copies. This is basically like the Monster Reborn of the deck. Basically, you can summon a rock monster from your graveyard in defense position. But on top of that, if it's an Emancipator monster, you can take a level 4 or lower rock monster and place it on the top of your deck, so it adds a lot of synergy to the deck. But this card's actually very good in any rock deck, honestly. It's basically like a Monster Reborn for that, and yeah, it's really good for that. This is the card I'm playing because I wanted to try every card in the archetype, but this is one of the cards that I'm most likely to cut. So it is a good card, I can't lie. So it gives all your rock monsters 500 attack defense, so that's that's there. And then, on top of that, it lets you take 5 different Adamancipator monsters from your deck and place them on the top of your deck. So it basically helps you fix your next draws, and it helps you fix your excavations. So, I mean, like, it sounds good, but in all seriousness, the card really doesn't advance you in any way, but it's an early build, and I'm willing to give it a try for now. 1 Adamancipator Relief. This card... Basically, you tribute Adamancipator monsters and destroy monsters on your opponent's side or cards on your opponent's side of the field +1. It's a regular trap. I actually think it's pretty decent. It's good to mill it off, get it pretty easily. And then 1 Adamancipator Resonance. And this card, basically, it's like a it's one of your it's like a counter trap within archetype. As long as you control an Adamancipator synchro monster, you can negate. But yeah, it's one of the very classic, almost every deck has it now, in archetype counter trap. Next, we play for the extra deck. We play 1 copy of Adamancipator, the fire one. They all have effects where during your main phase you can excavate 5, and then depending on what you excavated, you can do different things. With this one, you can excavate 5, and then add 1 to your hand if it's an adamandrite monster. Next, and then it has a second effect at the bottom, almost forgot. During your opponent's turn, if you control a fire monster in your graveyard, you can special summon a rock monster from your graveyard. It's a quick effect. Then we play the Adamandrite water one. This one is a level 8. This one has another cool effect where same situation. During your main phase, you can mill 5, and then for every rock, you get to bounce that number of cards on your opponent's side of the field, and it doesn't target. Just stellar. And then on top of that, its secondary effect at the bottom here is if you have a if you have a water monster in your graveyard and your opponent activates a spell and trap card, you can quick effect negate and destroy that, which is really good because this is actually, that second effect can even be used in, like, outside of this archetype. Like, if you can use that second effect, like, let's say you're playing Mermills and you have access to a level 8, you could just have a free spell or trap card negate because you're definitely going to have waters in your graveyard, so that's pretty good there. One Adamandrite Risen, this is the win one. This one has the best, I think one of the better primary effects, which is that you can excavate cards and then you can special summon one of the rock monsters that are excavated from your from the top of your deck. And then the second effect basically is the worst of the second effects, which is if you have a wind monster in the graveyard, you can quick effect banish a monster during your opponent's turn. But they all have like very good effects, and they all have incredible synergy with the rest of the deck, because you can keep reusing them because you can shuffle them back into your extra deck and then resummon them. But yeah, a lot of synergy. One copy of Formula Synchron, because we are playing the Needle Fiber, the Crystal Needle Fiber, so you get the draw and then you get to Synchro summon during your opponent's turn. Definitely very helpful. And if you haven't seen before, all of these Synchros are actually completely generic. You don't need to use rocks. You don't need to use Adamancipator monsters. They're completely generic, so you can actually during your opponent's turn climb. One Shooting Riser Dragon. This card is actually surprisingly good because you can use it during your opponent's turn, and then you can send like that Giant Soldier of Stone monster to the graveyard and then make this level 4, and then immediately during your opponent's turn you have a 4, and if you have another level 4 you can go into either the Water Adamancipator monster, or you can actually go into a myriad of other cards that I can show you. You can go into stuff like Boral Savage and stuff like Crystal Wing. But yeah, it's very, very useful for that. We play one Herald of Arclight. This card, you can actually like hard summon, which is really good. You can actually summon just by having a level 2 like Doki, and then one of the Adamancipator tuner monsters, but you can summon this, and a lot of people don't know this is basically like Macrocosmos, because anytime your opponent sends a card from their deck or from their hand to the graveyard, it gets banished. So it's like a cool little floodgate. One Cherry Beast, one of my favorite monsters of all time, negate spells forever, and it mills, which helps you even further. One Crystal Wing, one Borreload Savage Dragon, and then I think that's it for the Synchros. We play one Galleon Garnet, basically searches rock monsters, which searches our whole deck. Thank you. One Crystron Needle Fiber or Hycrophilbrax. Yeah, this card's insane. It gets you all of your tuners from the deck. Their effects are negated, but it doesn't matter because you get free stuff. One copy of Union Carrier. Again, all of our cards in our deck are basically Earth monsters that are rocks. So you're always going to be able to go into this pretty easily. And the great thing about this card is that you can attach, what's his name? Block Dragon. You can attach Block Dragon to one of your Earth monsters on the field, like one of your tuners, and then you can synchro those, create a synchro. The Block Dragon will get sent from field to graveyard, and then you get to search basically up to level 8, so you're basically going to get to search 3 cards. It's pretty stupid. It's insane. Then we play Osuup. I felt that this is actually one of the better link monsters to play, and it can help you link climb and synchro with your opponents. There's actually a great deal of Earth monsters right now in the meta, whatever meta we really have, but yeah, I think it's actually pretty good. Then we play one Borosaur Dragon and one Appaloosa, because we spam the board like crazy with this deck, and this deck doesn't actually lock you out of like other types, which I like. There's a lot of decks that'll be like, you can only summon Darks for the rest of the turn, you can only summon this for the rest of the turn, you can only Zombies for the rest of the turn, but this deck does not lock you out of anything. Summon whatever the heck you want. But yeah, that's it. That is it for this deck. I actually think this deck is going to be pretty darn good. It has an insane grind game. It's a lot better than a lot of the other hollow set archetypes that Konami has released recently. It's definitely better than Dragon Maids. That was a flop and a half, and I can't believe those are as expensive as they are. But yeah, I'm very excited about this deck. Let me know what you guys think, and thank you, and subscribe.